Everything you see here is strictly informational. Forex is a high-risk business. Please do not place trades with more money than what you don't have. Please do not trade other people's money. Do not borrow any money than what you cannot trade with. And please take everything that I say as a personal opinion. I am not considered a financial advisor. I'm not considered a broker. I am just one here simply recording my journey along learning the markets. Alright, hey, what's going on, guys? It is me, Ted, and I'm here with and that thing would accidentally unplugged my microphone somehow. I have no idea how I did it, but I just did. Anyways, I'm gonna do a rapid fire session of analysis of some charts to see what we can come up with, see what's gonna happen tomorrow. Tomorrow is turnaround Tuesday, as I like to call it. So sometimes some things can turn around. Especially maybe what we saw today. If we, I don't know. Anyways, if you've never seen my stuff before, what I like to do is I am a financial trader. Not a professional one, unfortunately. I'm just intermediate to beginner, I guess you could say. But I'm a quick learner. And I do like going over charts, and so that's what I do. I go over charts to see what the possibilities could be that we could be looking at as far as where his price action could be going on these charts. Primarily Forex, some crypto, maybe some stocks. Who knows? Who knows what we'll get ourselves into? It could be some trouble. But if you eventually like it, you can go ahead and hit the button that says subscribe. That'd be kind of cool. You can share it. You can do anything you want. Just don't call me your grandma. That's all. I just don't want you to call me your grandma. That's all. Um, Other than that, you can pretty much do whatever you want. So, all right, let me see what kind of charts that we can come up with. Let me just go ahead and let's head over to TradingView. Give me 1 second here before we head on over to TradingView, because for some reason it looks like you're gonna get a different version of my camera. That's for sure. There we go. I have to unlock it. That is why it's going to look a little bit different. Okay. Anyways, or I could just do one of these, get a little bit bigger, just show my head. I don't know. We're just going by the fly, by the seat of my pants right now. Anyways, all right, let's just cut on over to the chart, shall we? All right, so first one I have up is Dash. I'm not really for sure if I'm going to make a call on Dash. Dash has been kind of all over the place. Dash is a cryptocurrency, if you don't know. I did do quite a few. I don't know why it keeps saving this. I don't understand TradingView sometimes. It just saves like the most random stuff that I've deleted I don't know how many times, and I've hit save over and over and over again, and it keeps it there. But a couple days ago, I think it was over the weekend, that we all the crypto saw this fall, right? And I kept getting alerts on Dash that it was doing this and doing that, and it was just making really quick movements is all it was doing. So as we have on a 4-hour time frame, it looks like the 50 did get underneath it. So it looks like that is helping it out after that big fall that it had yesterday, or I guess I could say today, or was it today? I don't know. It is, let me see here. Today is September 14th, so yeah, that would have been yesterday. Yeah, that would be yesterday when it had the big fall. So it looks like it did get underneath it. It looks like it is struggling a little bit with that. I did mark, and why does it do this? All I try to do is, this makes no sense whenever I do this. For some reason, all I do is I try to, I need a pad or a mouse, because every time I try to just, try to zoom in a little bit, and then it just zooms in like this, and then I can't get it back out. I have no idea how to get it back out. Maybe there is like, you know what, there was a way. I think I figured out how to do it. And let me see if I can't remember how to do that right now. See, because reloading doesn't do it, which is the weirdest thing. Who cares? Alright, the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this. There we go. At least we have our old one back. And at least, hey, somehow it deleted everything. But Dash seems to be struggling. I'm not for sure. If I was a betting man, I'd put anything on Dash. But if I were, I would go long. It looks like looks like we did have some kind of we do have some kind of it looks like line going this way, some kind of trend line. It looks like it kind of went up and over and around it, but it does look like it's some kind of following some kind of trend now. That is going from this base here, right? Let me get this line here. But it looks like I've also marked some kind of blue line. That blue line looks like to be some kind of resistance. I'm sure once I get in closer, maybe to the 15-minute, I can see some kind of resistance being formed there. Yeah, it looks like it. You can kind of see a lot of candles coming up to it and then bouncing back off of it, or barely closing, and then staying above it, coming back off to it, bouncing off of it, closing, barely even closing. Yeah, so it looks like this is quite the resistance. Oh, and it looks like the last one that wicked through it. So it looks like we do have some kind of resistance happening here, and with this newly shaped, I guess you could say, it looks like almost a triangle. Looks like we do have a wedge pattern forming. And with a wedge pattern forming, more than likely you would be looking at a reversal. So that being said, what you could see is a couple one of these, and then it'd be going down through there. All right. So, well, now that I'm already on crypto, we can just go ahead and stay on crypto, right? Let's just go ahead and go to my favorite, which is Ethereum. As soon as I can find Ethereum, there it is. I did a big old thing on Ethereum, and the whole thing is gone now. Of course it would be gone. Let me see if it is marked up on any one of these. No, it is not marked up. I had a huge markup on Ethereum. Maybe it is marked up, and I'm just, yep, there it is. There's the markup. It's just, I've been away for a while. Been away from a while, Ethereum. Sorry. Even though I haven't been away from a while, because I did struggle with the entry point whenever I did get in, because I did call the end of Jesus, I keep grabbing lines here. I did call the end of this, and I did get on the entrance at the very beginning of this, which was awesome. I grabbed quite a few scalps on this, and I, even this one here, this little 15-minute drop, like that one right there, and I caught that one. Caught that entry and let it go up, and then whenever I felt like it was going to fall, which I think it was actually somewhere around here, I let go of it. So Ethereum, it continues to rise. What I did do with Ethereum is I marked out basically what looks like some smart money plays, right? So some mitigations that happened, right? Maybe if we get down to not to the 5 minute, maybe if we get down to like the 2 hour or something like that, I think is like the best way to see it. Let me see here now. We'd have to zoom in here. But last week I did a video on Ethereum and I said it wouldn't get below 320. Unfortunately, I was wrong about that. It wasn't too far off though. It looks like the lowest we got was 309.92. But we did stay above 320 as far as the bodies were concerned. So I was right on that part at least. So that's got to give me some kind of brownie points, right? Anyways, what we have here is you have two high points, right? So these are liquidity, right? So liquidity, anytime you have liquidity, the institutions are going to want to take it out, and look what it did. It actually came up to create even more liquidity. So a lot of people started putting their sell limits in their sells in, thinking it's going to go the opposite way, and then all of a sudden, boom, it shoots up and it just takes out everybody. So the institutions were taking a lot of people out with this when they just made a smart move and just said, let me take all of your money. And that's exactly what they did. So because of that, they were still holding a sell position in this candle here, it looks like, right? So because now you have a new accumulation box kind of form. That's why I have these in boxes here. You kind of have this new accumulation kind of form here. Let me get this. Looks like a little skinny one. You have this box that kind of formed, and then what was funny is that you had this down touch. You have this down touch. So now you have these two down touches, right? So now everybody thinks it's going to buy whenever it gets to that point. And it does the same thing. It starts coming down. Probably people are going to try to buy. And I bet if we get a lot closer, let me get a lot closer and let me see if we start seeing some buy candles in there. Yep, looks like there is one before the entrance. So right here, here's that buy candle right there that I would be expecting. Boom. So you see that buy candle right there. That's basically everybody coming down to it and thinking, oh yes, it's gonna buy again, because it's already came down to this area how many times and bought. And then institutions were like, you know what, we still have a buy hold right here. We've been in drawback for a long time. We don't want to be in drawback any longer. So what do? We go ahead and sell, right? And so they sold through that, and then they got rid of that position that they were holding, and then they bought, and they just after they bought, they actually got themselves in a good position, because they continued to buy, and as there was more accumulation and more accumulation, more positions, being brought in, it kind of almost gets to a high point. Not as high as the one that they had back here, but still, there's definitely some liquidity being formed. People probably having sell limits and thinking that they're going to sell probably around that point, and it's right around the same point, right around that same point that you see, it comes up to, and you think it's gonna sell, right? And it sells just a little bit, and then all of a sudden, boom, right through it again, does the same exact thing. And it doesn't take too much longer for it to get to a new box, right? So they just keep buying right through it. It's just they keep eating all the liquidity. And so this time there was 2 points of liquidity, and you can do this on either side. You can have this point of liquidity or the opposite side of liquidity, right? And I thought it was going to be another one to where they were just going to keep going higher, because I thought they're at least going to reach 400, right? And it does, and it gets up to, a fairly, what is it, 390, I want to say. Yeah, it was 390. Gets up to 390. And I thought it was going to continue buying. And then again, it just, actually, I could probably pull this over a little bit further, because that's where the accumulation continued to happen. And then once you get down to, I could pull these down here, because this is where the liquidity is, the liquidity point. All right, sorry about that. I was having some technical difficulties. So anyways, back to Ethereum. So we were in this new box, right? So this could have went either way. Like I said, it was creating liquidity above and below. And just like when, just like these others, whenever you thought it was going to get to the point where it was just going to turn around, just like for here, right? So you thought it was going to get down to here. You thought it was probably going to turn around and go back the other way. Instead, it just sold straight through, right? So it tricked you once again. As soon as you think that you can buy, because it had tapped, this area 3 times, right? So I thought, they made you think you could buy, and it looks like people did. Got down below, some people bought, and the institution said, oh, okay, well, we'll just take a better position then. And then they just drilled a hole right through there, because so many people probably had their buys and their buy limit set through here, thinking that it would rebound off of these. Because I think even if you get down into the 5-minute, I think that's why I was drawing some of these pink lines across. Let's see if I can get over it. If this is the new, this is where we're at now. Sorry about that. Don't want to grab that line. So yeah, there were some of these bear candles here that could have acted as, what do you call them? Mitigation candles, candles that that they're still holding, a buy or a sell. Sorry, a sell position in, so they could come down, hit that sell position, and then release that sell position and go back up, just like they did with the one down there. It could have been some kind of thing like that. Honestly, I thought that's what was gonna happen. But instead, whenever I saw it just buy right through that instead of actually bounce off of it, I didn't go for it. I knew it was just going to go right through it. And so that's what it did. And it just continued to drop, and this is what happened overnight. So this is what happened, I think, overnight Saturday into Sunday. And then, so Sunday morning, I think is when it was. Yeah, I think it was Sunday morning. I woke up and I thought this was the end of the drop, right? And I haven't made a post about it. And I was like, all right, cool. We are done dropping, because I was looking at the RSI. And if you look at the RSI, you can see that you're way oversold here, right? And later, let's just pull this up a little bit. You can see that you're way oversold here, right? And then you're oversold here. So you're way oversold here, and you're still oversold here. Here you're starting to pull back on the RSI. So I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, this is over with, And so I buy, right? And thinking that it's going to go up. I make, I forgot how many pips it was, 10, 15 or something like that, because I think I got in right around here. Oh, four. No, I could have had to be more than that, but maybe I guess it was only about four, maybe 4 or 5. All I know is I did take some profits, um, and I had my stop loss set about, I want to say $3 below or something like that. What was it? 363. I think I had it set it at 360. And then once it hits my stop loss, I was frustrated, and I was angry, and I wanted to, you know, to uh, revenge trade really, really bad. And I wanted to revenge trade, but I was like, nope. I was like, don't revenge trade. I was like, you got to think about this. Think about this in a technical way. Um, and and I looked at it again, and we had hit the the bottom of being oversold again, and I was like, geez, I was like, because at this point I'm thinking it could do it all over again. You know, this could be, you know, the oversold part, and then we could go down again, and that could be oversold, and then we could go down again, and that could be oversold, and then next thing you know, we're having this vicious cycle. So I held on for a little bit, and that's what this yellow line represents. That's when I finally entered. So I entered a little late, only because I saw that it was going up, and I saw that we did have some momentum going our way. So that's when I finally entered, was right there, was at this line. You know, we didn't make it up. I think I started to see the momentum kind of start to vary right here. I saw that these two RSIs were extremely far apart, and whenever that usually happens, they're about to come together. And whenever they're about to come together, that means there's a change about to happen. So I took profits, not all profits, of course. I took profits, and then I saw the drop. And then once I saw the drop, I let it get about as far as I could before I took another position. And then I took the other position, and I forgot how many pips that was. It was a decent amount. That was, yeah. No, it couldn't. Jesus, it was more than 6, I feel like. But then again, I could be wrong. I mean, maybe it did feel like about 6 pips. I don't know. It did take forever, I know, at least, to make quite a bit of money on this, because it continued doing this most of the day. But I also had a buy limit set at the same exact spot. Because at this point I knew, especially since we started seeing the momentum go up, I knew that we would, probably see the end of it, or at least the end of the downward momentum. And somehow, I didn't. I secured, I think, a couple more pips of profit, or a couple more lots of profit, before it completely shot back down. It hit my buy limit, and I got a little worried because I thought it was going to go straight down. But we were in. It showed that we were oversold. And the good thing was, this is where my double RSI strategy came in handy, because right there is where I believe that even though I did have a buy limit set, it was also at where the RSI strategy would come in handy. So the RSIs both were, let me see here, 26 and 35. What is that, 9 apart? So yeah, that's more than enough apart for me to enter a trade on the double RSI. Luckily, it was just automatically entered anyway. And then it just continued on, and there was, a couple times I think I did have a couple more entries, and a couple times I took more profits, but it was this fall right here that had me worried. So the next time it got up to here, I took all my profits and I stopped. I got out of the trade here because I was afraid that it was going to continue going downward. I thought we were going to continue seeing a slide downward, and I didn't want to see all my profits get lost. So it was right here, to where I exited the trade. So that was about noon today. Yep, it sounds about right. Yeah, noon today. It was right on my lunch break. I decided to take all my profits and be like, all right, so we'll see what's going to happen again. So at that point, Ethereum has been trading sideways. And let's see what's going on with Ethereum. Um, let's see if it's created. So it's just kind of been, steadily going upward. And at this point, I guess once you could say it crossed this blue line, because I did have a line of resistance drawn for some reason. I guess it was because of this, both of these, and it did that same thing again as it always does. It came up here, dropped down a little bit. Oh, looks like there's also liquidity points down here as well. I'm actually not surprised it didn't dip down and then go back up. That way it would take out both liquidity. But instead it kept flirting with this line. So everybody thought it was going to turn around, or at least all the bears did. And then all of a sudden it just shoots up once more and takes everybody's liquidity out. So this is why you got to be careful with Ethereum when it starts making these double, triple tops. Instead of actually selling those, you might want to start thinking about buying those, because that's when it usually decides to go right through and just completely, destroy all of your money. But then we saw, and then we've just seen sideways movement ever since. So what I'm going to do is, now that we've just seen sideways movement, and it's funny because I've had this new resistance orange line drawn for a very, very long time. I had that drawn whenever this started happening, and I believe I drew that in there because whenever this was happening, I was literally watching it happen. And almost every time something would get to that line, it would, here you can see it bounce off. It would come through it. It would come down. It would bounce off, and it just seemed like it was some type of resistance line, because anytime something got near it, it was always a reaction point. As you can see here, it reacted off here, and it just didn't like to hold this point. So yeah, as you can see, it came up above it, came down, reacted off of it, reacted off of it, reacted off of it. And here's a big reaction off of it when it tried to come down and hit that very much so reaction. Here it came down, boom, reaction off of that again. And here we just decided to go straight through it. So I've had this marked as a resistance point for quite some time. And then sure enough, today, whenever it gets to this resistance point, boom, huge reaction off of it to the downside. So not so much watch for those double, triple tops that you have that you're going to trade off of if you're going to trade off Ethereum. More so watch your resistance points. And if you think it's going to go straight through, make sure you set a very short stop loss or something like that. That way you don't get yourself into a really, really bad trade. Yeah, now that we've seen sideways movement, let's see what we've created here. It looks like it did create two double tops right here. And it looks like it has already taken the liquidity from that. So it comes up to here. You think it's probably going to go back down. Nope, it goes up, takes the liquidity, and then decides to go back the other way. And now it is looking like, well, it definitely created some liquidity down here. Do I have VWAP on? I do have VWAP on. Why do I have VWAP on? That's only for stocks. Looks like we have created a little bit of liquidity here. But I would say most liquidity is probably running along this pink line here. So it looks like we've had some reactions off of it. And it looks like we've gotten close to it a couple of times coming through here. And it looks like now we've had a new resistance line, or a new support line, I guess you could say. And so yeah, now we're just gonna have to see what's gonna have to happen next. What do I think is gonna happen next? I think Ethereum still has a stronger chance at going up. I don't think it's going to try to. I mean, if anything, what it could do, it could go down to here, to this like 37 or the 373.66 area, and then buy from there. So that is one thing it could do, right? So long position from there, and then what I would expect it to do, I would target these, right? This right here, these highs, as your as your first target, just because they're your highs. Well, actually, my targets would be, here would be take profit 1, here would be take profit 2, and of course this resistance would be take profit 3. And if you have more lots that you want to keep going, and if it ends up going higher, you know, you want to let them go, keep letting them go. Trail your stop losses as always. Make sure you're never, you know, in the negative, you know, or at least try not to be in the negative as possible. At least that's my theory. But that's one scenario that could happen. You could see that happen. You know, you could see this kind of pull back and then hit this area right here, because it could take out this liquidity, and kind of fake you out as far as thinking that you're going to come down here and get this far down and not get that far down, and then it just go ahead and take off. That is one thing that could happen. Or what could happen is that, you know, like I said, you do have this liquidity, or I wouldn't even say it's liquidity yet, but it does look like there is, you know, some kind of liquidity there. I mean, it looks like if you went up to it, people would have their stop losses, or not stop losses, their sell limits set here. So what you could expect it to do, actually, is kind of do one of these, where it comes up to it, right, and then kind of pulls back a little bit, and then, you know, maybe go sideways for a little bit, and then you could see it do one of these where it dips down and hits it, and then comes back up to it, and then pulls back a little bit, and then go straight up. That's honestly something that Ethereum would probably do. So that's kind of like more of how Ethereum acts, to be honest. It likes to play around. It likes to create a lot of liquidity. And it likes to take a lot of people out. So whoever, I mean, the people that are the institutions that do play with Ethereum, they are smart traders and they know what they're doing. So be careful when you're trading Ethereum, and just watch for liquidity, because wherever liquidity is, that's where the money is going to go. That being said, let's go ahead and check out Ripple. I think I may have a better chart for Ripple, because I know I made a good chart for Ripple. Or maybe it's on this one. Oh, I did something for Ripple on this one. Maybe we have to go back and find it. Yeah, here. Well, here's where I did something. Jeez. I think this is also where I found the end of the drop. I found the end of the drop of Ripple was the exact same time as the end of the drop of Ethereum. Again, I thought it was early in the morning. We are back at September 3rd, so so it must have been right around, oh geez. Ethereum didn't have that big of a drop, did it? Or unless this was it here. I am confused, because I know I think Ethereum and Ripple had the exact same time where they decided to drop. and or to stop dropping, and that would be September 13th between 7 and 1 o'clock. And see, this is what I'm talking about. I just had Ripple and nothing was there, and now I bring back Ripple, and now my actual trading view I do not understand. I really don't understand. But anyways, this is what happened with Ripple, and the reason. Okay, so here was my reasoning for Ripple, right? Is I thought this was the end of it. This little, you have this little spike down there, this little wick here. I thought that was the end of. I thought that was the end of the drop of Ripple, and the reason being is because there is, if you go to, I think maybe it was the 4-hour chart. Oh God, why doesn't it do a better job? You have to really look closely. I'm just gonna get rid of the text here because I can tell you all about what it says. I do that for making charts on TradingView, publishing them. Let's get rid of these. I wish there was like a drop down to be like, what do you want to get rid of? So TradingView, please take my ideas. That would be nice. And be like, I want to get rid of all objects. Or, I think you can select multiple things, if I'm not mistaken. But not when you're this far away. You have to actually really get in. Okay, so maybe it wasn't. Well, I think maybe what I did was I did 50% of this candle. Not 100% sure. I'll have to keep going in and trying to figure out why I chose this as it being the mitigation candle. Maybe, oh, here it is. I think it's a 2-hour. So the 2-hour, you have a flat bottom sell, right? So you have a flat bottom sell. So the pressure came from here. So I took 50% of that candle, right? 50% of that candle is generally, that's, if you ever, watch anything about smart money, 50% of candles is usually like I don't really know how to explain it, but it's usually the point that either they'll either go to sell to, or your stop loss will be there, or it's usually like the pullback that it'll have to. It's usually about 50%. So 50% of this candle is what I drew, and so that wick. So once you go back to like the 15-minute, that wick goes right through that. So I was like, oh, that candle was mitigated. Perfect. So because of that, that's what smart money has taught me, that it's going to start going the opposite direction. Well, it did for a little bit, and then it did the same. It went the opposite. I think I didn't have my stop loss set well enough. Because I think I had it set at let me see here. I had it set just under it at the 2400 level. So that's, I think, the level that we were trying to hold was the 2400 level. And stupid me, I probably should have left a little bit more room, because I think when I did enter, it was just a little bit above it. So I was just making just a little bit, not enough for me to for me to be happy about. But then it turned and went against me, and of course hit my stop loss. And then again, I wanted to revenge trade, but I didn't. But I did see that we were gaining some momentum, and the same thing happened with this one. As you can see, it had the we were oversold, and then we were oversold again, and then we were oversold. But this time you can kind of see the momentum change. This one acted a little bit different. You could kind of see the momentum start shifting out of this one at this time. But I did see it, come up, and then whenever I saw it draw back, that's when I decided to enter. So this wasn't exactly the timeline that I entered. It was more like right there is where I entered, um, and I entered and actually I'm still holding. I'm still holding Ripple. I've just been little profits along the way. Um, just because there hasn't really been too much of an effect on Ripple. Nothing really has been going on with it. It's just been steadily climbing, and hopefully it's enough that it'll do something soon to where hopefully it'll do one of those Ethereum things where it'll just rip through sky high. Um, I do have a theory though that it could drop to somewhere in between. I think it is 0.2411 and 0.2401. I think I drew a box out. Let me see. Let me just go ahead and throw this out there. So let me keep pulling this sideways since we're still already there. And the reason I have this theory is because we did create some equal lows right through here. So since we did create some equal lows through there, the next most, I guess you could say, I wouldn't, if you're thinking about liquidity and you want to take out liquidity, that's where you would take it out. So you would go through that, right? So you'd go through this point to take out that liquidity. So what would probably end up happening is that Ripple would end up coming down to here, right? And maybe even a little bit further, if I'm not mistaken. Like I said, I think it was 2411 was the one that I had, and the reason I said 2411, I think it was because it was it was really not 100% sure why, but it just looks like it's a good resistance point. Looks like it touches that point here. There's a couple other resistance points that it has. So it looks like it is a resistance point. So it would go through that liquidity, hit that resistance point, and then after that, then you would see it buy. But if it's going to do anything like what Ethereum does, it's probably going to do something like this, and create some liquidity along the way, and then eventually maybe take some more liquidity out, and then buy up a little bit more. But to be honest, the way Ripple has been looking, it's kind of just gonna keep doing a little bit boring more moves like this, just up and down and up and down. It's really not gonna go anywhere, but it is gonna continue to slowly grow. But that is what I got for Ripple. Another one I like to trade is Zcash. I know Zcash Tether is the same thing. Tether is basically the dollar. If you don't know what Tether is, this is one move I did call. I think at first, I don't know why I decided to buy here, but I did buy there. It didn't work. I don't know why this is still saved because I know I've deleted that. But I did see this and I decided to sell because it did look like a very big bull flag. So I did sell, and once it started to give a little bit of a pullback, I did get out. So that was one trade that I was happy about, and that was happening right around the same time that we had the The rest of them stopped falling, and finally, going up our way. I actually it was a little bit later in the day. You could say it was whenever I saw that, and I made a little bit of money on Zcash later in that afternoon, later that evening. But what is happening overall with Zcash? Let's take a bigger look at it. Let's do a 2-hour look, and let's see. I know it dropped pretty heavily, right? And so I did draw this kind of, and it seems like that's still kind of holding. It looks like it kind of just dipped below. It went down. It looks like, yeah, it looks like it tried to retest this trend line on the backside and push away from it, but don't really think that that's the case. Looks like Zcash just may be another one of those that's slowly buying. It has a tendency every once in a while to just be erratic, and all of a sudden, as you can see, it'll just start buying like crazy, and then all of a sudden it'll just start selling like crazy. So if you are going to enter Zcash, make sure that you do find a very, very good position to buy. I would say wait for a good drop if you're going to wait for it to buy, because it looks like that is the direction it seems to be going. Let me see here. I'm going to set myself an alarm here. On each of these RSIs. I wish they wouldn't do that here. Probably just the bottom one. I only need the bottom RSI. I'm not going to be looking to sell. So, other than that, not much happening with Zcash. To Litecoin, let's check out Litecoin. Completely sideways. Nothing has been happening with Litecoin. You can just pretty much draw a box in Litecoin, and looks like you've had some touches to a bottom that you could put as a support. Other than that, it looks like it did have some liquidity that was created. Took it out. Went back down through it. And then now we're back at that same liquidity point. It looks like it went through the liquidity point and then came right back down. That is on a 2-hour chart. 15-minute chart, we might get something a little bit different. But no, just more of the same. Nothing too spectacular happening out of Litecoin, unfortunately. Looks like it's just ranging in between 45 and 51 at the most. So, wouldn't get your hopes up on Litecoin. Let's check out Bitcoin. Looks like Bitcoin had a retest at 10,225. Looks like around 12 o'clock. And that is what sent it up. Let's see here. What was it retesting? Interesting, because I do own. Looks like I already made one resistance point or one support level already, and it was retesting that same support level, because before it just looks like this is one big area of accumulation. So this would definitely be like a Wyckoff accumulation schematic to the T almost. Because it looks like you have a seller's climax, looks like you have like an automatic reaction. Then you have a couple tests. Then you have spring, and then you have the, looks like you would call that the, well, I'm not for sure where the creek would be. It looks like this would be the creek, but you don't have a clear jump across the creek, but it does, looks like there's almost like two different types of accumulation. You have accumulation 1 and accumulation 2. They kind of be split in half almost right here. And that is once you cross this 1025 line. And so it looks like Bitcoin is now on the rise again, which is a good thing. Looks like when it hit the seller's climax, it was at 10,646. And it looks like it retested that. Looks like it was sometime around 6 o'clock, so about 5 hours ago. Looks like it kind of retested that whole area a couple times. Looks like it made liquidity as well. Right, so there's a liquidity that it made. And it looks like it made liquidity below as well. And then it did what a Forex pair would do. Probably what you would call an FU candle. So the FU candle would take you out at the bottom and then take you out at the top. And since Forex isn't one to be played with lightly, that's probably what happened with the big players. They decided to sell to buy. And now we're back within that same accumulation point. So it seems like even though it did reach a new level, it looks like we are above a support of 10,600. Looks like that would probably be the new support level. Yeah. Yeah, probably even a little bit higher, because I would even count those wicks. You're looking at more like 10,630 as the new support level. And we are in a accumulation phase within that. So just watch the liquidity within Bitcoin, and we'll see what happens. As you can see, this is the 15-minute. It looks like the 50 MA of the 15-minute is about to come into play, which means it will probably reject it, which you could see a buy in Bitcoin happen very soon. How much of a buy? That's the question. I am not sure. Didn't mean to do that. Let's go ahead and do that. With the strength in Bitcoin on the 15 above the 50, that is likely, but the question is, where is the strength in Bitcoin on the 4-hour? It is not oversold, which is surprising. I thought with it jumping that kind of high, it would be oversold. which means that it's going to rest probably within this accumulation zone, and as it rests in the accumulation zone, RSI will probably drop a little bit, which will give it more room to go upwards. So I am definitely going to be setting an alarm on Bitcoin. Let me know when it does drop. I am going to do 4 hour, and I'm also going to do 15-minute. And I'm going to give it at the 40, just because Bitcoin tends not to oversell. And even if it does, once I see it hit the 40, it'll give me enough time to look, react, and plan to see if I am going to buy or not. So that is what is going on with Bitcoin. What I would probably expect out of Bitcoin, it's already found a support level. I wouldn't expect it to hit the support level again. I would kind of expect it, now that we're at the 15-minute, kind of bounce off of this, right? Probably pull back down a little bit, move sideways some more, right? And then Bitcoin kind of likes to do what Ethereum likes to do, and then just take people out. So I would expect some kind of liquidity to be created right along through here, probably. And then somewhere probably around this area right here, the 10,720, 10,740 area. That's probably where it's going to rocket off from. That's what I would expect from Bitcoin. So that's what I got for you today on crypto. Anything else I need to go over on crypto? I don't think so. I think I went over the main ones that everybody wants to know about. If there is any others that you guys would like to know about, like for me to go over, let me know. Definitely hit me up in the comment section. Just shoot me a message on Telegram. Hit me up on TradingView. I'll put all that information in the video. And let me know what you think. Alright, thank you guys for stopping in. And as always, please keep your pants on.